we did learn at the start of Raw that it was going to be CM Punk versus Sami Zayn in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. I did ponder to myself, maybe we as fans do moan a little bit too much. I mean, we are eating good. We also got the longest Royal Rumble video package in history. My main takeaway is that WWE financially did very well. Who won it? Dunno. Also, hello my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs, the only wrestling review show you need, and I will watch professional wrestling so you don't have to, and there is a lot of it on that television. Also, don't get mad at me, get mad at the finger of power, and yes, that's just a sentence that came out of my mouth, and I am not a child. What? Let's up those downs. When out did come Royal Rumble winner number one. It was Jey Uso. My gosh. Now this has caused quite the ruckus on the internet, and look, have all the opinions, apart from those people that take it too far and start getting personal. But man, let's just call it for how it is. These people are idiots and these people are stupid, and if you are going to cross that line, well again, you're an idiot and you're stupid, we don't need to worry about. Those who just have thoughts though and are happy to share them and get into a discourse, man, you get a couple of thumbs from me. But I really don't understand how anybody can't watch this Jey Uso entrance and even have a little teeny tiny thing in your tum-tum that goes, well yeah, I get it a little bit. His reaction and response was so big, they stopped the music and then they started the music up again because the fans just wanted to go crazy. I mean, there's two reasons I love it the most. One, if you now do have a favorite superstar, you can believe in your Tootsie Toes that maybe one day they will get the same treatment. And two, if wrestling it's about being over with the fans in the building and on a wider scale too, selling a lot of merchandise and just being somebody you want to get behind. Well, man, Jey Uso is him. This mother hupper got all emotional as well. That got me a bit emotional too, water coming out of my seeing devices, because you can just see how happy he was. He didn't even know what to say. When Cody Rhodes came out and said, what do you want to talk about? That didn't happen. He even started to talk about the fact that when he did become a singles wrestler, he was scared. And I love it when people of huge success do this, because it basically sends a message to you and I, hey, you can be nervous, you can be scared too, we're all nervous and scared, so let's all go live our dreams. So much so, let's start a movement of our own. I'm definitely going to regret this, and it's definitely going to peter out in around about 3 weeks. But I am going to be in the 2026 Royal Rumble. Now that could be part of the pre-show, that could be part of the pre-show panel, that may be backstage walking around just interviewing wrestlers, or maybe I'll be in the damn Royal Rumble. But that's right, we are going to get to manifesting, because let's face it, we got a year and it will give us something to do. Now this is going to backfire horrifically like most things in my life, but Jey just continued here, and he was speaking from the heart and saying how hard he worked, and now he is going to go on to become the champion. I'm just like, Jey Uso, you were my guy already, but now you my guy forever. He also then thanked the fans, because without them he wouldn't be in this position. When out came Gunther, and I audibly laughed. I don't even know why. He's just the ultimate party pooper. Now, he did congratulate Jey when he was like, oh man, I can't tell you how disappointed I am. I don't want to fight you again. And I was like, man, the Ring General is feeding those trolls. I mean, he even pretended that the only reason Jey was able to get some of those 1-2 oohs at Satellite's main event is because Gunther has understood what box office is and that you need to take the crowd on a ride. But actually, he was in control the whole time. Now, that's a bit like me telling you, I shaved my head because I choose to, but it was a very good line. This is why he doesn't want the Jey Uso match either, because it does nothing for his legacy, whereas a Roman Reigns, a John Cena, or a CM Punk would be way better. When he dropped the absolute best line, he went, listen, Jey, if you continue on down this path, your life is going to be hell. I mean, that is a crazy thing to say. You also said at WrestleMania it would be the most violent thing we've ever seen when he compared Jey Uso to a diseased dog. Sheesh. Jey, of course, fired back, and he was all like, man, I'm done with this. I'm tired of people telling me what I can do and what I can't do. I am a singles wrestler. I am the Royal Rumble winner. And listen to me, Mr. World Heavyweight Champion. Maybe I will pick you at the show of shows, or maybe I'll pick Cody Rhodes, because I am going to pop down to SmackDown and talk to him as well. But the end of the story will be the same. Jey Uso, world champion. I mean, he just came across so genuine here, and that's what I want from my baby face. I'll just say it again. I want their feels to hit me in the tum-tum so I can do the dance of joy. And sure, yes, John Cena winning the Royal Rumble would have been great, but he still would have been John Cena at the end of the day, one of the best of all time. But Jey winning the Rumble, well, we have created quite a beast here, and I actually think it's going to turn out to be a damn good choice. I mean, he's basically just kickstarted his own legacy. So a round of applause from me. We then made sure everybody knew that John Cena is going to be in that Elimination Chamber, when Ludwig Kaiser was basically like, Penta, I think you're an idiot. Now, this was because he did throw him out of the Royal Rumble, but also because it was about to be Ludwig versus Penta. And I tell you, Kaiser is not having a good few days. Now look, he was able to hit the Masked Man with a rolling DVD into the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring, when the Masked Man Penta came back with a backstabber, and yeah, sure, it looked a little bit squiffy. He then got the dive because 2025, when he went super kick crazy, when he looked at Ludwig and went, oh yeah, that guy's got an arm, and he snapped it. I'm not kidding either, after about 8 or maybe 10 minutes, Penta then hit the Penta driver, and he just pinned Ludwig Kaiser 1, 2, 3. I was like, well, man, ever since Penta debuted, he's been on a little bit of a roll. I have no idea where Ludwig Kaiser is going, but there was an after effect to this, because Pete Dunne walked out, and of course Penta is beating him too, but also Ludwig and Pete Dunne were having a chat recently, and that caused a distraction, so Ludwig beat the piss out of Penta. So you have to figure they're going to start some sort of tag team, and maybe you could even do Ludwig and Pete taking on Penta and Rey Mysterio. Don't know where that came from, I just threw it out there. And also, once again, I don't really know where Ludwig Kaiser does go long term. I mean, apart from the obvious, back to Bowser's Castle. If you did do the Penta Rey Mysterio tag team too, I guess at WrestleMania, it could be like a Chad Gable, Dominic Mysterio team. But now I'm just saying things, they're coming out of my mouth. But I was fine with all of this, and it's just nice to see Penta become a WWE superstar in front of our eyes. When we got some still pictures of J.D. McDonough doing that moonsault last week, and yeah, it has been confirmed, he actually punctured his lung. So I really do hope he's okay, although Michael Cole made me laugh in spite of myself, because he was like, that's why we don't do this at home, kids. I was like, wait a minute, Mike, I don't think saying to a child, don't do wrestling at home because you could puncture a lung, it's going to work. They probably think that sounds really cool. Just tell them you may drop right on your head. Finn Balor felt the same because he was then talking to the Judgment Day and he was really pissed. He was like, I was gone for 2 weeks and look at this mess. You all ruined. Now he really went in on Dominic Mysterio here when Liv Morgan stood up for her man. She was like, wait a minute. If we didn't do the old switcheroo, Adam Pearce was going to take our tag team title shot away. And also, he went and sorted me out with a qualification match for the Elimination Chamber. Finn Balor didn't care about that because he's like, well, what about me? What about me? Because he is a selfish Sally. Where Liv was like, well, he's done that too. You've got one as well. Phil was like, oh, right. Sorry, I didn't realise. Carlito then got excited because he wanted the condom to have got him something too. Mysterio's like, oh yeah, I got you an apple. Now, Carlito looked a little bit sad about this, but I was like, Carl, you have brought this on yourself. Nobody likes apples as much as you. It's a little bit weird. When we got quite the controversy. Because Charlotte Flair came out to cut her Royal Rumble winner promo, and let's just make it very clear. If you have paid your hard-earned money and you go to a wrestling show, you're allowed to cheer, you're allowed to boo, it's totally up to you. But that also means if you snuck in or you stole your ticket, you better shut up. But yes, because Charlotte had been away so long, she launched into her, oh my gosh, it's been so hard ever since I have been away. And I do think this is true, like nobody knows the whole story, but it sounds like her career was almost ended. I mean, that's why she had that giant knee brace on during the Royal Rumble. She also said that she was broken physically and mentally and had no idea whether she would ever make it back to the ring. When yes, most of the fans were booing. Now, Charlotte kind of shrugged this off by saying, listen, I missed you all so much, I don't care what you do. But then she did say the line, don't forget, I'm the greatest WWE superstar to ever live. So we'll get back to that in just 1 second. And listen, if she wasn't expecting this, and she did have to shuffle on the dime, she doesn't need my sympathy, but I am that guy. I did feel a little bit sorry for her. At the same time, I think this may have been planned. Anyway, before we do get to that Rhea Ripley interrupted, that makes sense. Charlotte Flair is the Royal Rumble winner, and Rhea Ripley has a title, so she wants to know what the flab is going on. Now, Rhea is totally cool if they do smash it again at WrestleMania, because their match a few years ago was so damn good. And also, oh yeah, by the way, I won that, said Rhea Ripley, so I'll beat you again. Flair fired back that when they danced before that other WrestleMania, actually Charlotte won that one, so I guess we were setting it up. Rhea's like, man, I was nothing but a kid there, I ain't worried. Flair isn't going to make any decisions now, though, because not only is she also going to go to SmackDown, but she's going to pop down to NXT too. May as well pop a rating. She then really went in on Rhea because she was like, oh, look at you confronting me like this. It just proves that you have learned nothing, so you don't want none of this, because I will whoop your ass. Now I laughed out loud because I am an idiot, because Rhea Ripley got right in her face and said, listen, I respect you, but you clearly don't respect me. Which was a little bit like, do you know what? I don't like you very much at all. Oh yeah? Well, I think you're divine and I think you smell like lily pads. When I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm always thinking about you because you're the best. But actually, she delivered that so damn well, especially because she finished it by saying, if we do fight at WrestleMania, I will kick the respect into your face. I mean, she didn't say that bit, but that was the point. I really do think these two always work well together, though, because they do have gravitas. Now let's get into it. Because I have a small part of me, it's the nerd part of me, that would not be surprised if all of this was the intent. Because honestly, when Charlotte Flair got going, she is such a good heel. She holds herself on a pedestal, she won't listen to anyone, and it just like emanates out of her. She thinks she's better than everybody else. So really it's the total opposite of Jey Uso, where she feels like, of course this is going to happen to me. And don't forget all the vignettes we had before she came back at the Royal Rumble. She was literally saying, this is what I'm all about, I'm the best, nobody can touch me, I'm Charlotte Flair. She was not doing Kermit the Frog arms. So I totally understand why before we did get into the nitty gritty, she would want to tell her tale over the last 12 months, which sounds like hell, but there was just the feeling in the air to me that she's probably going to win a championship, be like, ha ha, I don't care what you think, because I'm the guy. I mean, WWE and even Charlotte must know that even if she goes against a Rhea Ripley or a Tiffany Stratton, well, just look at the lay of the land, man. She's probably going to get booed, so you may as well let her get booed. So it's a boring thing to say, but it's basically a Rock situation in 1997, or even what we were doing with Roman Reigns. Sometimes you just gotta go with it. Obviously, at the moment we don't know, but that is my gut feeling, and WWE has earned my faith, so I am going to give this an up. I do just want to talk about the human side briefly, because I remember when I blew my shoulder out and I had to rehab for 8 months to get back to my own wrestling, and that's on a way lower level than what Charlotte is doing, and I tell you, it does break you, and some days you're super duper sad. So throwing all the wrestling to one side, I think it's damn impressive, and I hope Charlotte goes on the run of her life. Give it enough. Jackie Redmond was then talking to Sami Zayn, and he was super duper sad. He really thought that he was going to win the Royal Rumble. That is okay though, because he still has another chance to get to WrestleMania, because yeah, he is in this chamber qualifying match, and he is going to beat CM Punk. Jackie then wanted to talk to him about Kevin Owens, but Sami ignored that, mostly because he saw Jey Uso, and Jey was like, oh man, I'm really sorry I knocked you out the Royal Rumble, I didn't mean to. And Sami just hugged him, man. And he was so happy for him. He really is the ultimate babyface. He also wants Jey Uso to go all the way, and of course Jey Uso wants Sami Zayn to go all the way. When Karrion Kross walked in, this guy, he's such an asshole. He was like, Sam, everybody else is living your dream, and you're not. That doesn't make any sense. Now Zayn basically told him, that is your final strike. I don't want to hear from you again. But Karrion ain't gonna listen to that. And I am intrigued by this angle. I would like to see where it goes. When the New Day walked to the ring, and can you believe it, finally, we should have done this weeks ago, they have brand new entrance music. The good news is that I quite liked it. Seems to be causing quite the back and forth online, but we talked about how bad the entrance music was at the Royal Rumble, but this one, I thought it had a certain something to it. But they were super mad because they had been excluded from the Royal Rumble, and Kofi Kingston was like, do you not remember all the memories that I have given you, and now you treat me like this? You're disgusting. Xavier Woods then took the microphone and said he's glad that Myles Garrett is getting out of Cleveland. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, if you know, you know. Things then got super interesting before we got to their match, because we were backstage, and yeah, Rhea Ripley and Iyo Sky were having a chat, because Iyo was like, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania. Maybe, it depends what happens. Now this is when Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez jumped them, and Raquel even threw Rhea into a box-like structure. At the time you were like, well, I guess that's something to do. But it was gonna tie into later. When the New Day finally got a win. I mean, look at me. Thank goodness. They're also facing Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, and look, it sounds like Dragon Lee has been away for so long, because he did have a baby dragon, him and his wife had a kid, and isn't that wonderful? We should be embracing this. There was a time when that never happened in wrestling. This way better. I did get so mad though, because 3 minutes into this, Logan Paul just interrupted, and we give that a down. I mean, we talked about this, we don't need to talk about it again, but I am going to continue it. Now, Michael Cole told us there was a reason for this, because Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio are going to be in an elimination qualifier match next week. I tell you, my friends, we are not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Now, the fans told Logan Paul to flub off, but they weren't saying flub. And very sadly, Netflix tried to mute this. I much preferred it when they don't do that. But the New Day didn't care, because they are assholes now, and they use the distraction, and they whip Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee's ass. I mean, at one point, they were just ripping at Lee's mask, and honestly, Rey Mysterio basically missed a tag, because he was looking at Logan Paul. I was like, Rey, you have been fighting for 4 decades, basically. How have you not got this in your head now? When another wrestler comes out, you gotta ignore him. It did mean Xavier was able to throw Rey into Barry's barricade, but he still got the hot tag, and he would have hit the 619 if it wasn't for those meddling kids, or the New Day helping each other out. Logan Paul then got in Rey's face. The referee was totally fine about this, although it did cause the distraction, and that allowed Kofi to grab Rey, He just pulled him out the ring. He also then went and hit the Trouble in Paradise on Dragon Lee. I'm so happy he got the 1, 2, 3. So it seems to me if I was Kofi, I'd be like, excuse me, shouldn't I be an Elimination Chamber qualifying match? But all I care about is the New Day has got a victory, and they did it in the most ridiculous way. I need more of this, and I need them to win the Raw Tag Team titles at WrestleMania, and we're going to have to come up with the dumbest finish ever, just so they can be like, we don't care, they're getting up, I really enjoy it. When we got a very interesting update on Roman Reigns. Because in the Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins had murdered him with this stomp, and you got to go and see it. So Michael Cole was like, yep, we have been told Roman is not going to be seen for a long old time. Now, of course, in the real world, that ties into Roman's schedule, and more power to him, he has earned that. But it also probably means he's not going to be in the Elimination Chamber. So what the hell are we cooking for WrestleMania? It does mean we can call him our missing tribal chief, but the most interesting part is, do you know who was cutting a promo after this? It was CM Punk. I think that's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Jackie Redmond was interviewing him about the fact that he was taking on Sami Zayn later. He was like, sorry, Sami Zayn fans, but he ain't going to the chamber, because CM Punk is instead. We also saw the Alpha Academy and A-Town Down Under fall out backstage, so that is going to be a feud. When we got our big old video reminding you of what I Show Speed did at the Rumble, and my gosh, that has been seen hundreds of millions of times. Almost like that's why they put him on the show to begin with. I gotta say too, I know in the past he said really stupid stuff, but I do enjoy him immensely. And yeah, a lot of that is because he did take that spear, but if you want to use him for WrestleMania, I got no problem with it. Around about this time as well, if you were watching on Netflix, which I'm sure you were doing, this was happening. And yes, be it on Netflix or watching my show, it's super duper annoying. I've no idea what went down. We also learned it's Lara Valkyria versus Bayley in Elimination Qualifier next week, so for the love of everything, can we just change tack to let her defend that IC Championship? When it was indeed Liv Morgan versus Iyo Sky. Now this was for the chamber as well, so Sky hit a dive because 2025, when Liv Morgan was able to come back with the backstabber, and the commentators are like, oh yeah, Carlito taught her that. And I was like, but she was doing that before she met Carlito. I smell a liar. We also got the Three Amigos when Iyo Sky hit this tremendous drop kick. And that's when Raquel Rodriguez started casting distraction. I was trying to ring Adam Pearce here. I was like, Adam, why do you keep letting her go to the ring? Because even when Iyo went for her moonsault, Raquel was doing the same thing, so I was melting down. But Sky kept reversing because she did have Liv Morgan's number, which is when I assume Rhea Ripley came to. She was like, where is that damn Raquel Rodriguez and her heel sunglasses? Because she popped up, she ran to the ring, she beat up Raquel. Now Liv Morgan was so offended by this, she grabbed Rhea Ripley by the hair, which again I couldn't relate to. And Rhea was so upset, she turned around and she smacked Liv right in the face. The referee saw that. I was like, well, I don't think you're allowed that. Let me check the rules. No, you're not. Disqualification. Now bless Liv Morgan, because she sold this wonderfully with her face, but so did Iyo Sky. She went to Rhea afterwards like, why did you do that? Now I don't get to be in the chamber. Ripley was super sorry as well, and listen, there's every chance we still do Rhea Ripley versus Iyo Sky at WrestleMania, or another PLE pay-per-view, and we have planted the seeds, and I've got to tell you, I really enjoyed this, because it took the women's division and it gave it depth. Or light and shade, or more story, whatever you want to call it. Because when you do look at the men's division compared to the women's division, everybody in the men's one is doing this, and sometimes we don't do it in the women. And now we have two baby faces that can have beef, and it's not just based on, oh man, I want a title shot. Iyo Sky should be pissed. I like this stuff a lot. It also means Liv Morgan has snuck her way into the chamber so we can get mad at her. And yes, we can be worried because Iyo Sky Mania Dream is now dead. So you're meant to be bad, that is the relevant emotion here, and it's so much better than just getting a winner and a loser. I mean, I know sometimes WWE goes way too overboard with the shenanigan finishes, but this one, to me, felt like it had a point. I'm intrigued to see where it goes. The War Raiders then told us that JD McDonough had earned their respect. So let me just make a note here. If I want to earn Eric and Ivar's respect, I must try and kill myself. Got it. Chad Gable and his crew then turned up and they were like, oh man, I can't believe you injured JD and then beat him. I was like, bro, you don't watch the show. McDonough did it to himself. The point is, Chad thinks they're not champions, but the Creeds are, and I swear, if we get that tag team title match before the Creeds have won, I'm going to have a meltdown. I don't think they fought on Raw since 1942. Now, the real spin is Gable then dropped a bomb because he turned to his team and said, listen, I have to go away for a while to learn the dark arts of Lucha Libre. What the flub is going on? When he returns, he expects Ivy Nile to be the IC champion and the Creeds to be the tag champions. So talk about a dad that is putting way too much pressure on his kids. And look, maybe this ties into the return of Aleister Black. These are just random words that I'm saying. I don't know if it's true. Maybe it is. We also then got told that AJ Styles has been transferred to Raw, so I once again was doing the dance of joy. And Bron Breakker even walked in and told Adam Pearce, I don't care about AJ Styles. And I've thought about this. It only took me 8 seconds. Please, for the love of everything, do that match. When, my friends, there is no going back, it is the end because Seth Rollins made his way to the ring. And you can see him up here right now. I think he was cosplaying as my grandma dressed up as The Undertaker. Now, he followed Sami Zayn's lead in the sense he was so sad he didn't win the Royal Rumble, but also CM Punk didn't, so woohoo! Also, Logan Paul threw him out. He was reveling in it. Rollins also took pride in the fact that he had taken out Roman Reigns, because it doesn't matter what he or Paul Heyman is saying, they just haven't gone away for a while. Seth injured him, and that's because Roman's been doing that for the last few years. He doesn't care about anybody else, so Seth's not going to care about him. I tell you, I like serious Seth. He cuts a good old promo. He then promised that he will make it to WrestleMania because he does have that Finn Balor elimination qualifying match next week or in the next couple of weeks, when he switched and just went, hey, Sami Zayn, I want to talk to you right now. Thankfully, Sami was right there, and he came right to the ring. Though in fairness, he was preparing for the main event. He started talking about WrestleMania and the Chamber and what CM Punk had said to Sami Zayn recently, that Sam wasn't on his level, and Seth was like, no, you are levels above him. I mean, you've main evented WrestleMania, man, and you're a good person, which CM Punk is never going to be. And also, let's tell everybody right now, sure, we all know I hate CM Punk, but Sam Zayn, you hate CM Punk too. I tell you, Sam didn't deny it. Basically nodded along. That's why he understands why Zayn had to put on a brave face during the War Games, but now it's time to show the level he is on. There was so much referencing to levels here, I presume they were talking about Mario. Seth also wants Sami to be in the Chamber because he just deserves it more. Then he kind of threw in a little bit of a barb, because he was like, we'll also kill CM Punk's WrestleMania dream. Look into my eyes. I want that. So I'm just going to make a guess here. I don't think Seth Rollins likes CM Punk. And just when he was going to leave, CM Punk's music did hit. And officials had to separate these two because they were going to get into it. So you cannot convince me otherwise now, although I do admit I'm being a nerd. Surely at WrestleMania it's going to be Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. Because they hate each other so much. Well, not only is it getting away of their own championship aspirations, you know, it's kind of ruining the show because they just keep fighting. We then cut right into CM Punk and Sami Zayn, and apart from this, which I'm doing again, which is annoying, I don't know what was going on either, but it was a damn good match. You could have done this on pay-per-view, PLE. Zayn hit a superplex early on when Punk just knocked him out of midair when they hit each other with the double-cross bodies. And I tell you, if this happens again next week, I am starting a counter, because it is actually happening all the time. CM Punk had then wrecked Sami Zayn's elbow so bad he couldn't even make a cover. So surely that's going to tie in when Sam came back with the least devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the Blue Thunder Bomb. And did it work? No, it didn't. Did you think you were going to see the counter? You were wrong. It never does. He still threw Punk into the ring post when Punk came back with the Anaconda Vice as Sami Zayn was able to get to the ropes. That's when I sat there. I just said to myself, this is really good. For no reason, Punk was then pointing at the WrestleMania sign, but it is the road to WrestleMania. When that thing is put up, it has like a gravitational pull. And I guess it did kind of work because when Zayn went for the haluva kick, Punk dodged, and he was going to hit the GTS, but instead, Sam hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, surprise roll-up. And that was one hell of a 1-2-ooh, ProWrestlingTees.com, says Simon Miller. I actually thought he got 3. He didn't. Sadly, it just convinced Sami Zayn, well, I should do that sequence of events again, and that never worked, so he went for the haluva kick. This time, Punk did dodge. He got the GTS. Uno, dos, tres. It means that CM Punk is in the chamber. When he pointed the WrestleMania sign, he just broke Netflix. It's not funny. It was really frustrating. I have no idea what is going on, but I guess we just have to be honest here. It's not like it's happened so far, so it's a one and done. It's not a problem. Now, the two did shake hands because they are the best of friends. And you are not going to believe this. I didn't even know I'd unlocked this character, but zombie Kevin Owens was here. So once again, this guy, if you need to bring somebody back maybe earlier than they should have done after having their ass whooped in a match, this is what they should look like. It actually looked like he'd risen from the grave. He, of course, went after Sami Zayn as well because he's probably super mad at him for not helping him at the Royal Rumble, and now his life is in tatters, and man, he gave him his package pile driver. And if you used to watch these two on the indie scene, They didn't change anything. It looked like total death. Is brilliant. I'm pretty sure Kevin Owens was wearing a Sami Zayn Forever t-shirt too because he is the best. And now these have been teased for a match at WrestleMania. And while I know they've done that before, it'll be so much better in new WWE. And I can't handle it. I need it, hook it to my veins. I'm basically in love. The promos they're allowed to do will absolutely floor me. So this entire segment from the Seth Rollins promo all the way through to this and the match itself, it is getting a massive up. It was a brilliant end to Raw. I also love that Punk didn't try and help either. I mean, maybe he'd already made it to the back. But that is his character. Kind of proves Seth Rollins right. We all love him, but he can be a bit of a dick. Layers. So it really does feel like there's more to come. And in terms of a Raw after a massive pay-per-view like the Royal Rumble, I am most definitely giving it up. I'm plugged in and ready to go. Now, of course, please do let me know what you thought about Monday Night Raw in the comments below. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is my ups and downs for the Royal Rumble, so we can all get mad. But otherwise, I appreciate you, my friends. Have a great week. See you soon.